Welcome to the Hire Me podcast. I'm Chris Lynn.
And I'm Heather Balsaric. We are excited to introduce you to an amazingly talented professional today. You're going to learn who they are, what they do, and what they value in under 10 minutes.
So come elevate your game as we elevate today's top talents. Hey, Robert. So good to meet you. So good to have you on the Hire Me podcast. Welcome. Let's just dive straight in and learn a bit more about you. So we would love to know, who are you and what are you looking for?
Sure. So again, I'm Rob Walters. I'm based here in New York, in the United States. A little background on myself. I started my career on Wall Street working in sales, fixed income sales for JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank. Besides sales, I was very involved in technology and training and teaching. They brought down a new sales and trading system that didn't quite work with the current flow. So I was the person on the trading floor, 300 people, and I kind of created a whole new spec for them, and then I trained all the people on the floor how to use it. So, right from the beginning, I love technology. I love training and learning. So after Deutsche Bank, I went on to start an e-learning company working for companies like UBS, Payne Weber, IBM, Jackson Hewitt, to help them launch their e-learning from scratch. UBS was originally Payne Weber, and they basically had nothing except for stand-up training. So we launched everything with them. I built them an LMS. We created a workflow for them to do rapid development, so that we had, basically they said in a month, I need this course done, and we would have the course done for them in a month. And we just kept banging out courses and creating different systems and software and processes to make it work. Beyond that, I've got e-commerce experience and all sorts of database development experience.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
So what type of role are you looking for?
So I think at this point, I really enjoy the product or project management type roles. I'm also open to customer success because I really have an ability to learn any software package and help people. I love to talk to people and solve their problems, and I find people love to talk to me and really tell me everything and want me to help them out, and it really works really well. It's a good relationship when I'm working with people, trying to help them solve their problems or take software and make their process better or make their business better. So I think any of those three roles would be great.
That's great. And I think you dove into this just a little bit, but what do you really love about your work?
Yeah, I think just really being able to help people solve problems, and use technology to solve those problems. New technology is so exciting, so especially all the new AI type software that's out there, video creation and text creation, and I think you can take those things and really, make your job better, make your company better. So I really just like to take any kind of technology that helps the process better. And sometimes it's just an Excel spreadsheet. You could take an Excel spreadsheet and organize a whole project or product. It's just trying to find the right technology to solve the problem that you have.
That's wonderful. What type of leadership and cultures help you thrive?
I think people, I've always had managers that let me do my job. And when I had a problem or a question, I came to them, and I have no problem coming and saying, hey, you need to do this differently. But I always find that I could just do my job, work, and then I go to my manager when I need them. And I think that really helps me thrive because I really like to work through my problems so I can learn. So next time I already know how to solve a problem. And again, I don't mind people telling me how to do things, but I find when I learn on my own and figure it out, not necessarily from my mistakes, but just figure out how to solve the problem, I just do really well with that. That's about it.
That's great. Spoken like a true L&D professional as well, if I might add. So some companies might ask, or some hiring managers might ask, what problems can you solve for companies?
I could really, again, take any process and make it work smoother or better. So when I was at UBS, like I said, we had to create e-learning content. Really, there were no design tools then. We had Dreamweaver when we originally started with them, and then we started adding things as things came about. But I had to come up with this kind of rapid development solution, and I was able to do that. And I needed to be able to do it so that the average person who kind of understood Word could create the content. Instead of myself doing it, because I was the programmer. I didn't have the time to sit and bang out all these courses, so I would create templates. And that we kept doing that with UBS. I even created an online. It was probably the first online e-learning development tool. We created a whole system because we had people all over the Tristate area working for us, probably 75 people. So I actually created a web-based development tool for them, which had project management built into it, QA, so everyone could test it, and it kind of like Jira does now, the developer would go and develop it and then say, Mark, everything's done. And it would automatically open up for the QA people to review it. And then once they all said yes, then it would go back to the developer to fix it, and probably one more QA, and then we published it. So that was just, an exciting thing to do for them. And it was, I think it was ahead of our times. And you look at everything now, everyone does that, but I did this 15 years ago. And only the big companies really got it. They really understood it. All the small companies were like, yeah, we'll just use Dreamweaver. They just didn't really get this whole concept of online content creation, but that was the big solution for them. I also built them an LMS for their compliance, because they didn't have an LMS yet at the time. We had all this compliance content, and they needed to figure out how you tell the SEC how all their brokers did the content, went through the content. So I actually created an LMS for them. So things like that. That's the kind of stuff I love to create for people.
That sounds like a lot of fun, and sounds like a lot of great problems that you solved.
Yeah.
So last question for you. What really matters to you? What are your values?
I think just working really hard. I always tell people, people will come to me and they'll again, like people like to talk to me, so they'll tell me about the job, and I don't like this, I don't like that, and I'm always like, then you need to find another job, because you really need to go to work and be excited, and and if you have to work extra someday, and I get the whole work-life balance, but let's say some days you got to work a little more, and you need to be excited about that. You need to be able to wake up in the morning, and I like to get up in the morning and just get started. That I love to work, and I love to do my thing, and I like to just get moving as soon as I wake up, and that's what really excites me. But I think that's important, just really loving what you do, and to be able to communicate and work with people. And you work with all different kinds of people. You got to learn to work with different people, and whether it's a good fit or not a good fit. But that's about it.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, Robert, again, thank you so much again for coming on the Hire Me podcast. It's been great having you on, learning about what you do, how you can solve uh, issues for organizations. And so we'll get your name out there. And again, we want to make sure that we can help elevate you to be one of the next top talents. So thank you again so much for coming on.